This portion of our special webinar on public relations is going to feature Billy Flemming. Billy's a member of the Rotary Club of Blakely. I suppose that's in Blakely, Georgia. Is that right, Billy?
That's correct, Jeff.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself before you start the presentation?
I will. Thank you, Jeff. My name is Billy Flemming, and I'm a longtime publisher of the weekly paper down in Blakely, Georgia, which is down in extremely southwest Georgia. And I thank you for visiting with us today and letting us talk to you about public relations. I'm actually the print public relations director, and so I'll be talking to you primarily about newspapers. And the first thing I want to say is, like Margie, our district governor, Margie Kersey, usually does, she says, "What can I do for you?" And she has instructed us, directed us to always start anything we say with, "What can I do for you?" And I mean that sincerely. Anything we can do for you in regard to public relations, please feel free to call us. I want to relate a short story to you in the beginning, which I happened to experience shortly after Margie talked me into doing this job. We have a native from Blakely, Georgia named Dr. Lewis Sullivan, and he was back in Blakely about a year ago now at a ribbon cutting for a health facility. And during his presentation, he talked at length about the eradication of polio and all the organizations that were involved in the hard work that was done. And I was standing there as a proud Rotarian just waiting for him to mention Rotary, and he never did. And so that drove home the point to me, the importance of getting the word of Rotary out. And Dr. Sullivan is, like I said, a native of Blakely, and I had an opportunity to tell him just a few months ago that I was using that gaffe of his in a positive manner, and he was glad that I was, and he thanked me for bringing his attention to it. But it is important for us Rotarians to understand the importance of the public relations aspect of Rotary. One of the things I want to talk to you first about is a packet of digital files that I sent to the district governor for the Pets weekend. All the president-elects at that time, who is now your president, should have those digital files, and I urge you to get those digital files about public relations from your president. If he doesn't have them, they may be available at the district website, and if not, you can certainly contact me and I'll send them to you. And talking about newspapers, the first question I want to ask is your newspaper, is anybody from your newspaper, the publisher or anyone else, a member of your Rotary Club? If not, think partnership. And I think it's important for you to find ways to involve your newspaper in the Rotary projects and think of ways to partner with them and think of ways to make your newspaper want to partner with your Rotary Club in the projects. And the quickest way to do that is to get Rotary in their blood, get them as members of your club. Going back to those pet resources, you'll see on the screen here, enhancing Rotary's public image. That's several years ago. Rotary realized that they had to do a better job of getting the word of Rotary out. And somewhere on their website, they made this observation that we have the future of our great organization in our own hands. And it all starts at the grassroots level. What we all do in our own community, the image of Rotary that we project, think locally and act locally. In other words, the responsibility of getting the word of Rotary out begins at the local club. And I presume if you're listening to this that you're probably the club's public relations chairman, or if not, you can pass this information on to him. In that packet of information, there were several files, one being a list of resources. There's a page in there that gives you a good list of resources that are available to you. The next digital file that you'll find in there is the Club Public Relations Committee Manual. There's an awful lot of information in there, and I urge you to take a yellow highlight pen when you print it out and go through it and mark the sections that will help you most. The next item is Key Rotary Messages. There's a file in there that lists several things, everything from Polio Plus but all the projects that Rotary has worldwide. There's a lot of ideas in there and a lot of areas that need to be publicized. And then there's public relations resources. There's a lot of information at various resources listed here that you can turn to. And then by all means, make sure you go to the Rotary International website. And when you go there, you click on Members, and then click on Running a Club, and then click on Public Relations tab to the left, and there will be a wealth of information available to you there. And while you're there, be sure that you sign up to get the weekly Rotary update, because there will be a lot of information that will come to you each week from there. And I'm going to get over to the next PDF file now. Rotary is big news, and one of the files that you read in there that I don't have listed here is an essay written by a Rotarian in Hawaii. And make sure you read that, because it gives you a good perspective on how Rotary is looking differently at the need to publicize Rotary. And at this point, I want to say, you know, I'm the print director. And when you think newspaper, you're thinking the newspaper that you hold in your hand and sit down and drink and read with a drink while you're drinking your morning coffee. But think digital, because virtually every newspaper, I'll change that, every newspaper ends up in a digital format before it goes to press. So virtually all newspapers are now available online. They have their own websites. And most newspapers also prefer that the information that you present to them comes in a digital format, either email and even your photographs, or send them to them that way, and it saves them time when they go to work with it. And familiarize yourself with your newspaper's website. There's a lot of information there about your community, and there can be a lot of information there about your Rotary Club as well. If you look on your newspaper website, you will most likely find a tab to community links. It'll be named different things, but it'll take you to various website links or links to websites in your community. And if your Rotary Club website's not listed there, contact your newspaper. They'll be glad to put it there for you. And when it comes to what type of articles, I've put a few examples here that we've had in our paper in the past year or so. This first one is an example where we put up some plaques at the Kolomoki State Park and at the local library. Both those are projects that we did, or that Rotary over the years was responsible for making happen. And as I click through, you'll see this next one is a visit by the district governor. That's always good public relations opportunity, and in a smaller community, it's usually front page public relations opportunity for your Rotary Club. This next one was another visit by another Rotary president, and he urged us during that meeting to share our club's 83-year history, which we did in a good article that I don't have an example of here, and here's another example. Dr. Lewis Sullivan that I mentioned earlier, he was back in Blakely a few months ago, and Congressman Sanford Bishop's representative presented him with a citation from Congress for his dedication to health care. Here's another example. This is where we were given students' handbooks at the school one day. And here's another one where the Rotary Club invited a World War II veteran's family to the club, and we honored him. And we got our local state representative there presenting a proclamation. And this is Grady Hohen, by the way, who was one of the World War II's most decorated veterans from the state of Georgia. And this is just simply an example of a column, an editorial piece that I did after I attended PETS several years ago. And it was basically, I thought I was a Rotarian until I went to PETS, and I got thrown in there with a bunch of real Rotarians, and I realized what Rotary was all about. And this is another one where the Rotary Club partnered with Peanut Fried here in Blakely to ship peanut butter to Haiti after that terrible earthquake. And here is another one. This is Rotary 10-10-10 raffle, literacy raffle, was turned out to be a very profitable project for us. And our club partners with the Chamber of Commerce to sponsor the Star Student Teacher Program. And this is an article on the front page of our paper after the club hosted the Star students and Star teachers and honored them at our weekly meeting. And this is one he recently died, bless his heart, but Mr. Raymond Singletary was thought to believe possibly the longest serving living Rotarian. There was an article in the Rotary International magazine a while back which prompted me to run an article about him. But those are just some examples of what we've done lately. And Bob's going to talk to you a little more, Bob and or Jeff, about the videos, but most of your newspaper websites have got tabs and places where you can place videos, and they welcome the people in the community, the readers, and the organization to put videos up. So when you're thinking about your newspaper, don't just think about print articles. You can also put digital video clips on their websites and or still photo libraries. And like I said, Bob and Jeff will tell you a little bit more about that. One more thing about public relations and newspapers. When you send a newspaper a photo, be conscious of the size of that photo file, because these digital cameras today, including your cell phone, will take photos up to 5 megs and larger, and you don't need files that large. The newspaper doesn't need a half meg, a 3/4 meg. Will do everything that we need to do with the videos that you send in. And one more important thing is, as most of you may know, if you don't, the district now requires that all of our club scrapbooks be in digital format. And the newspaper may be a great resource for the information that you need for that scrapbook. In some cases, you'll actually be able to grab digital files from the newspaper's website. Like mine, you can grab my page PDFs. And if not, you can contact the newspaper and make arrangements, and they would probably, in most cases, be glad to give you a copy of the PDF of their page that your article may be on, and then that makes it easy to work from there to get it into your scrapbook. And I've crammed an awful lot into a few minutes. I just want to say one more thing in closing, and I want to remind you of the Rotary tree planting project. This is District Governor Margie Kersey's pet project, and that's tree planting actually dates all the way back to Paul Harris, as you see on the screen here. But I hope your club has a tree planting project, and if you do, now we're in the optimum tree planting season. But if you do have a project, make sure that you get it publicized in your local newspaper. And if you need more information about Rotary tree planting, just visit rotaryfirst100.org, and there's a lot of information there. Or send me an email, and I'll be glad to get some information back out to you. And I have crammed a lot into just a few minutes now, and I appreciate you taking time to listen. I hope I haven't confused you. And as a matter of fact, I forgot to tell you at the very beginning of this thing that, I'm in the newspaper business. I'm not in the radio or television, as you obviously can tell. And you can tell from my presentation that I mumble a lot. In fact, the name of my weekly column is Mumbles, and that didn't come about by any accident. But do feel free to contact me any way that you can. All the contact information is there on the screen, and I will be glad to help you any way I can. Jeff, that wraps it up.